Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of a newscast in the English language on Canal International. I'll begin with our top stories. Thousands of youths across the country have demonstrated their love for their nation through patriotic songs and messages for their father's land. These are February 11 to celebrate a National Youth Day in Cameroon. This edition will paint the ambience in some regions across the country. An armed man who said in a viral video the West separatist fighters have set dormitories of Queen of Rosary College, Okoyong Manfe, on fire. The act this February 11 is meant to prevent the students from taking part in the Youth Day activities. Those are major stories. Details right ahead. Good evening once more. Thousands of youths today converge at the 20th May Boulevard in Yaoundé this day to take part in March Past exercise to commemorate the 56th edition of National Youth Day in Cameroon. The March Past was chaired by the Minister of Youth Affairs, Mumuza Foso, who re-echoed the message of the head of state on nation building to the young people. High Central was part of that parade history.
Let's build our fatherland. The message these youths are passing across in their march past songs. Here at the 20th May Avenue in Yaoundé, the young patriots overwhelmed to have regained the marching lanes after 2 years of suspension. 14 primary schools, 14 colleges, 9 institutions of higher learning, 18 training and vocational centers, and 9 youth associations drawn from the 7 subdivisions of Fundi all answered present for the civic duty. Their marching steps admirable. The parade, here presided at by the Minister of Youth Affairs and Civic Education, Monona Foso, in the presence of other members of government, was an occasion to resound the call of the head of state for youth to abstain from wayward behavior and actively participate in the process of nation building. The event, highly punctuated by rich cultural exhibitions from the 4 cultural zones of the country. The other 23 participating nations in the just-ended Total Energies African Cup of Nations, highly honored during the celebrations of the 56th edition of the Youth Day.
And the 56th edition of National Youth Day has taken place in Bamenda, chieftown of the northwest region of Cameroon today, Friday, February 11, with a cross-section of regional and divisional delegations of ministerial departments playing a big role in the march past. A separatist ghost town threat kept some people, some students back home. More in the following story. After a year of forceful recess imposed by the COVID-19 scare, Youth Day activities resumed in Bamenda. We're talking about the march past proper that took place today in the chief town, Bamenda, northwest region of Cameroon. We might not have that story. We take you to the southwest region of Cameroon, where youth and other students equally took part in activities or the march past, traditional march past today, to commemorate the 56th edition of National Youth Day. Inyas Ondwambala.
Youths in the Southwest region have once again mobilized after the AFCON's games this time around to demonstrate their commitment in participating in the peace-building process in the Southwest region. On the occasion of this year's National Youth Day, youths at the Boya Independence Square have resolved in striving for unity.
It's a privilege to have this wonderful youth day again. After the suspect of quite a while, thought nothing of future, but from all indication, it's obvious that there's a tunnel, there's a light in the tunnel, and we can see for ourselves. I think it was a glorious time that we had, and we are expecting that next year will be more glorious than this.
In Boya, headquarters of the Southwest region, the National Youth Day is presided over by Governor Obena Okalia Bilai. After listening to the head of state speech, youths demonstrated their high sense of patriotism through the march past.
My message today, after this great event, this historic event, to the youth of this region is a message of congratulation. My word is that they should, now that they have understood what is the importance of the youth, I mean, the youth should continue to work hard and to forget to listen to those who are misleading them.
After 2 years of breaks due to the COVID-19, youth are once again taking part in the traditional march past, carrying out messages condemning all forms of violence, striving for peace and stability.
If we must succeed, we must work as a team, because team building is what makes the team work fast. Above all, we must not take sides as young people. The future belongs to us. We must think about what is good for our community, what is good for our country, what is good for our continent, which means that we must be objective.
At a time, the world is facing challenges related to COVID-19. Participants who are youth of secondary schools, higher learning, professional schools, and members of association in Boya are taking part in the march past respecting COVID-19 barrier measures by wearing their face mask. It was a colorful celebration in the Southwest region.
An armed man was said in a viral video. The separatist fighters have set several dormitories of Queen of Rosary College, Okoyong-Manfe, on fire. The act this February 11 is meant to prevent the students from taking part in the Youth Day celebration. While there are no reports of dirt, enormous damage in material has been recorded. The act has been widely criticized by human rights lawyer Agbombala. He shared the video on his page describing it as inhuman and a criminal. And young Cameroonians have expressed their readiness to participate in the major challenges of the country as urged by the theme of this year's 56th edition of National Youth Day celebration in Cameroon. The celebrations in Yaoundé 1 subdivision this day was marked by parades, patriotic songs, and many other activities, as reported by reporter Udmu Usumi.
Youths in colorful uniforms brandishing the green, red, and yellow colors as they march past here at the Longcat ceremonial ground with songs of patriotism.
Une tâche difficile, lesquelles j'assume ces maîtresses avec fierté. Merci à vous, mesdames.
Joy, happiness all over them as they express readiness to face challenges of nation building.
I'm happy to march before corner my friends, my big sister, my big brother, my small.
I am so happy to march today. It's for long I've not been marching. I'm glad because I'm marching with my friend. I pray that God shall make me again to march next year.
Ceremony coordinated by the Divisional Officer of Yaoundé 1, Haruna Nyanji, who urged the young people to be vectors of development.
The President invites youth to be very ingenious for the building of our country. Youth must not take drugs. Youth must be responsible for our achievement, the achievement of our country.
10 primary schools, 18 secondary, 2 teachers training institutions, special squares, 8 associations in line with 2 political parties actively took part in the March Past parade.
It was also a rich and colorful march past at the Bang, a locality in the Swa neighborhood in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. Like the appeals all over the national territory, the excitement of the youth, the celebration was also quite visible. More in the following story.
The youths in this periphery zone, Ebang, turn out in their numbers to once again enjoy the youth day ambience at the center of the March Past this February 11. And all started with the singing of the national anthem. Then, like is tradition, they had to digest the message the head of state addressed to them yesterday evening via speakers placed at strategic corners of the makeshift ceremonial ground officiated by the traditional ruler of the area. The wait at times seems long, occasion to also cool their thirst. Then the business of the day, the March Past proper, and it is these little ones of the nursery school that starts the show, marching hand in hand in order to follow the lines. They are 4 per lines. These in their different colors, with the teachers very close by. Their brothers and sisters in the primary section takes the relay. Because of their years in school, they do it better. Chanting patriotic songs, other making it more animative, especially as their ballet dance adds to the magic, almost a tradition in most schools today. The school children brandished the colors of the country, then the secondary and professional schools in that locality. 2 long hours the time for the youths to parade before the officials, dust not a problem at all, as their feet, like the swinging of their arms, and the sound of their voices what really matters to them, and that is 11 February. This centralized March Past celebration in this outskirt area of Yaoundé at Ebang, Swa district. Youths determined to actively participate in the development of their fatherland.
Meantime, some youths in the Douala 5 Council area have reacted to the head of state's address to the nation, saying it is a booster and encourages them to work harder. They have lauded the creation of more job opportunities, as we hear the following story. And the President of the Republic has announced the setting up of a National Employment Council, which will permit youth across to get access to more jobs. Bobia was speaking last evening in his traditional address to youth on the eve of February 11. More in the following story. Recent statistics from the employer cartel, ACAM, have shown that most vision bearers hardly share their vision, nor share their dream and goals. So we are sorry for those technical hitches, and that brings us to the end of this edition of Newscast on Canal the International. Thanks so much for watching. We have a Lee PJ coming up with the brief. As for me, I'll be back on Monday for another edition. Good night.